Hello, my name is Frank, and for my media assignment, I chose to go with gender role socialization because I wanted to see what is the gender norm for what types of toys that boys and girls are supposed to play with, and what's appropriate for society in terms of what's acceptable between what kind of toys boys play with and what type of toys girls play with. Um, the purpose of the PowerPoint I picked is to compare commercials from the 90s to today's commercials. I chose for my first media resource. I was able to find the top 10 toys for boys in the 1990s, and it goes through the 10 top toys. Combat battle darts. The aliens. Which is based on war. The ninja bots. The slime, the Nerf gun war fights, and the Transformers. And the one that I deeply related to was the Transformers. So I decided to grab that one as a kind of a theme, and then wanted to compare it to the Whole Cans commercials of today from 2003 to 2017. I use this particular commercial to show the comparisons throughout the years and how they haven't gotten any different in regards to targeting male adolescent boys. In my first research topic that I picked, research article that I picked, was the parents' judgments about the desirability of the children, of toy desirability for the children. And out of 324 Austrian parents, they the results came back and they rated same gendered type toys and gender type neutral toys as more acceptable. Now, for the egalitarian parents that were interviewed, it showed that they allow a greater variety of interests that allows their behaviors to expand in different ways that relates to their interests. And this is all in part of changing behaviors in their children than traditional parents do. Traditional parents are stuck to a certain norm, and that's all there is. The social status doesn't matter in regards to what type of toys are acceptable. It doesn't matter between age, education, or gender. Parents are gonna, find what appropriate toys are appropriate for their children. In my second research article, I picked Pure Toy Play and as a gateway to children's gender flexibility. Now, gender flexibility is it's an open-minded attitude to gender roles. That's pretty much it. Um, and in our Western society, we're so close-minded in what is acceptable for us to be like or behave like in society that it's noticeable in people's everyday work and social lives because we're constantly surrounded by social media and the contents in that social media, which tells us that we're supposed to follow a certain gender norm. Anything outside is not considered normal. And in Latin culture, and there's many cultures beyond the Western society that still see um, uh, gender norm as gender preferences as either boy or girl. There's nothing outside that, so it's kind of hard for other cultures to really incorporate these boy and girl. It's not as hard for cultures to bend to these rules of what's acceptable or what type of toys their children are supposed to play with because this is a given rule in many cultures. Um, Now, the gender type toys are strong among boys than they are in girls because the toys for boys are more masculine in nature, and the girls' toys are more feminine in nature. So a boy being seen as playing with a girl toy is not acceptable, and it would be really noticeable due to the fact that girls' toys are more feminine in nature. Um, and then there are two contexts that relate to gender flexibility, and that is toy preferences and playmate preferences. These two can be very detrimental because they can determine whether a child's going to get ridiculed or bullied based on what toy preference they decide to go with. Um, in my first media research topic, or my first media topic that I researched was the 1990s boys toys commercials from the 90s. The target audience is young adolescent boys. The character roles for this, the media violence shows images of war, destruction, violence. The boys in the commercials are aggressive, you know, and especially in the last commercial, it shows these similarities, and that uh, the '90s toy commercials do have a strong male stereotype, and it doesn't show any females in there. It's a strongly male stereotype, and it's pretty obvious after you watch the commercials. Um, the '90s commercial did not defy the gender stereotypes because they were following the gender stereotypes that were acceptable at that time, and putting a female character in these commercials wouldn't have influenced the boys to play with these toys during that age. Decades later, it's nothing. Nothing's been changed yet. Um, uh, the '90s toy commercials seen today, and the commercials that from the past, they're both relate to each other in regards to being all male dominated. There was a power structure, but it wasn't between gender. It was between good and evil, right and wrong. Bad guy versus good guy. Um, all the characters are male in these commercials, but it also depends on what side you're on. Whether you're on the side of the good guys or the bad guys. That's what these commercials were based on. Um, and then for the second media topic that I researched was the toy commercials of today. And once again, the audience is male dominated. Um, the whole commercial that were analyzed, there was constant destruction, violence. Um, there was media stereotype violence. There was media type violence by male kids wearing oversized Hulk hands to destroy objects and to destroy things. This was depicted in all the whole commercials throughout the ages. But there was the last in the in the whole commercials, it was strongly stereotyped towards males because it was showing aggression, violence, destruction, and it had a strong sense of a demand for respect. So it was very hard to incorporate females in these male roles. But in the last whole commercial, the modern day commercial did defy the cultural stereotype of just having males for playing Hulk. But in the last commercial, it shows a female playing Hulk and a male playing Thor, and they go against each other, in a Coliseum type setting. Um, the communication, uh, the whole commercials of today and the '90s commercials are strongly related, having all male characters, because in the first media research topic that I picked, it was all male dominated. It had all male characters, and the same thing goes for the whole commercials. They're all male dominated and male characters. Um, the power structure, the power struggle that goes on with the Hulk, and with the use of the Hulk hands, is between good and bad. There is one female character in the last show playing with them playing Thor, with one boy playing Thor and the girl playing the Hulk. The boy and girl characters in the last commercial shows them fighting in a Coliseum setting, which does defy the cultural norm. In conclusion, I have researched the '90s commercials from the 1990s and compared them to the commercials of today, and I've seen that they are very still male dominated and they're very masculine in nature, except for the last commercial and the Hulk commercials where it did have one female character. which I was really surprised, which doesn't surprise me because the new She-Hulk movie came out, and hopefully they'll come out with some new ideas for girls to play with their own set of Hulk hands. But the commercials pretty much were all male stereotyped, and I wouldn't expect my kids to like watch these commercials. I wouldn't expect my kids to watch commercials from the '90s because of the violence that they depicted. But I hope all this information was useful. This is my conclusion, and these are my references right here, so that you can go back and reference the videos that I researched. I hope this video was useful, and I hope y'all have a good day.